Hey boo, welcome back to my channel and to the I'm Okay series, where I offer gems I've learned along my journey of artistry, love, and life. Typically when these words hit me, I immediately wish I would have learned them earlier. Like the minute I realized I had dreams and desires is when I would have wanted to really understand these words. But then I realized most of the words were already spoken to me, but they were only going to stick when my mind was ready. So breathe, forgive yourself for literally everything, and let's get whole. Hello, welcome back to the I'm Okay podcast. If you have been sticking with me this long, thank you so much. It is really nice to have this kind of access to you where you can have conversations with me on the go that is not solely through my music or photos from me modeling. So this is really nice. I appreciate you all. And we just passed 10 episodes, which is really amazing. Talk about focus and consistency, right? I love that. I'm really proud of you all. I'm proud of myself, and I'm excited for the future. So let's get into this episode. I was sitting in my space and thinking about my fellow creators, my fellow artists, and the way my mind is right now it's opening up my eyes to the reasoning behind a lot of the things that I've done in my career. And what's so interesting is how many other artists I know that can relate to not only doing similar actions, but having similar reasons behind doing the actions. Like if we're talking in the music space, artists doing free shows or just generally being overworked and underpaid. And I want to start this off with a disclaimer that I'm not saying that nobody should pay their dues. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm going to get to the reason why it is still in our favor to pay our dues a little bit later in this episode. But yeah, just really thinking about the reason why I did a lot of the things I did in the earliest part of my career, and then moving to Atlanta, that whole era of my career, moving to New York, the whole era. And it's interesting, as an artist, I truly believe that the world has profited the most out of the desperation they've created in artists, right? We have an image out there. If you're not extremely world famous, whatever that really is now, right? Because social media has kind of shattered that glass ceiling. But if you're not at that level, you're kind of considered a quote unquote starving artist. And I was talking to my sister the other day, and that whole starving artist image never sat well with me. No matter where I was in my career, I just could never get with the idea that because I am a beginner or a new artist that I should starve. And I don't know who made it up. I don't know if they meant it literally. I don't know if they meant it figuratively. I just could never get with it. So in the earliest parts of my career, I had a corporate job, even though I remember there was one songwriter in LA. I have no idea where she is now, but let's call her Stacy. I went to Stacy's studio. This is when I was trying to work the songwriter circuit. I went to Stacy's studio, and she'd written for Timbaland, she'd written for Janet, she'd written for Rihanna. She was on fire, And it's funny because you would think that with that caliber of work, she would be like living lavishly. Absolutely not. But she was very sweet. This is no shade to Stacy at all, but she had a line in one of her own songs, because not only was she a songwriter, she is an artist herself, which also very interesting that we're encouraged to give away our writing instead of somebody pushing us personally as artists. But whatever. One of Stacy's songs, she says something about never having to have worked a 9-to-5. And I remember I was what, 19? Still a teenager, 18 maybe, 17, I don't know. But I was a teenager at the time when I heard that, and it, when someone says something and it drops in your spirit and you're like, oof, what was that? It's almost like if you eat something weird. Like, you might not throw it up, but it definitely went down weird. And I just thought it was so interesting that, like, at one point, having something that financially stabilizes you as an artist is considered unsuccessful. Like, that's how they created that desperation in us. Because if I can get you to see that expanding your gifts is bad for your image, you're going to always choose your image over those gifts. And I don't know, it just really opened my eyes to the way the world profits off of our desperation. As artists, they make us, put out ads and do all this stuff when all we really want to do is be heard. As artists, I think that if you are a true artist, that's likely your need, and it's not even to be it's not even to be agreed with, just to be heard, right? Because your art is a piece of your communication, your heart. It's a piece of you that you are sharing so generously with the world. So it's only natural that as an artist, your everything that you do is centered around being heard. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some genuine artists. I think Andre 3000 is a great example, but there are some genuine artists that do not want to be overly seen. In fact, actually, I know a lot of artists that would prefer to hide, but somebody has taken a liking to them and refuses to let them hide in plain sight. But even with that, they still want to be heard. Maybe not by the whole world, the whole judging world, but they still want to be heard. So that's first. And then another thing that I noticed is comparison culture has attempted to streamline or eliminate our creativity altogether. If I can get you to see what's popular using numbers, then I can get you to create what it is I want to be seen. And now we're wising up and we're learning about how algorithms work. And it's not that your art is bad, it's that it is going against whatever algorithm is that's being favored right now. Well, I hope that you know that. So that you don't have to go through what I did in questioning my work as opposed to questioning the algorithm. It's very interesting. It's like, instead of questioning the platforms that we're putting all of our art on and how they're ranking, instead of questioning, let me not say the platforms, instead of questioning the ranking system itself, we tend to question ourselves and our work as artists. And I'm not talking about questioning our strengths, or I'm not talking about questioning in a way that makes us better. I'm talking about questioning in a way that can make us bitter. and can look at the next artist and say something about their work that is not very favorable. So that's one thing about comparison culture. And I definitely want to get more into comparison in the coming episodes and just kind of dive deep into how comparison has driven the world of art. And, you know, in all of this work that we're doing to work, right? Can't get a job without a job. In all this work that we're doing to work, what we don't realize is that our power is growing bigger because we're being forced to learn skills that are not native to us. And we end up on the other side with a plethora of skills that are really valuable and that may or may not be outside of our artwork. And so I think the key is to just, yes, it sucks when you're not being pushed by someone outside of yourself in a way that you feel you deserve, but never lose that awareness of the new creation that just came out of that rejection, the new talent that just came out of that rejection, the new skill set that just came out of that rejection, because that adds to your personal power. And when you wake up to that, you can use it however you want. I've said it, but we live in a really amazing time where we have both access to a lot of information at our fingertips. If we really want it, we may have to go through multiple mediums, but the information is out there that you seek. And the information that you seek is also within you. So don't lose the awareness and the fullness of your personal power. I think that for the first time ever, I understand what it means when someone says what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because whenever someone tells you that you need something, right? That you're incomplete, you need something, especially for artists, that you need something outside of yourself. If you want to work, or if you want to do what your vision was or your goals were, and you feel that that's the best route, you're going to go out and find that thing that they're saying you need. And once you've done it, you can't undo it, right? Like once you've ridden a bike for the first time, you may not ride for 10 more years, but you're not going to forget. Once you've driven a car, you're not going to forget, like that's something that stays with you. So it can work out to your favor. If you're an artist listening to this, or a creator in general, and please take into account the art that you created before anybody else had something to say about it. Like, let's say you're not currently putting out your artwork to sell, but you know that when you were younger, you really loved art. I count you as well. Breathe. Forgive yourself for literally everything, for quote unquote not being enough, for, following someone else's approval besides your own. All of that. Forgive yourself for that. And go forth being aware of your full power. I'll talk to you soon. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this and get more tips like this, like, share, and subscribe. And turn on the bell notification so that you get notified whenever I put out a new video. Also, if you like the song that's in the background, it is called I'm Okay from my latest project, Blackcurrant, which is available on all streaming platforms. I love you. Have a great week. I'm okay where I'm at.